Welcome to the Mixed New Music Club. It's McCabe and Jenny, and now joined by singer-songwriter from Chicago, Zach Crean. How are you?
Hi, guys.
There
I'm
we
good.
go.
How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Zach, we always love supporting local artists. And tell us where you're from, where you grew up, all of that.
Burbs of Chicago, Orland Park. Lived there my whole life. Moved out to Mokina for a couple of years during high school, and then found myself, I moved to Naperville for about 2 years as well, which was awesome, beautiful out there. And then back in Orland right now.
Where did you start performing in your hometown? Like, what were the spots you were going to?
Just like local places. I think the first like show that I had for original music was Bourbon Street, 115 Bourbon Street in Marionette Park. And that's like kind of home base for me and like our team pretty much. But if we're talking like first ever real show, actually, it was in Des Moines, Iowa. Because I went to Iowa State, so it was super cool. Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Iowa.
Are you really?
I am, yeah.
What part?
Cedar Rapids. I
This is
know.
crazy.
It's so crazy. I'm not a Cyclone fan. I'm a Hawkeye fan.
Hey,
But
it's all right. I like both, to be honest. Cyclones were, everybody's like, why didn't you go to Iowa City? So because Ames is cool too, I guess.
so what got you into music? Like, what inspired you?
I've always just like, since I was little, my dad was so into music. Like, but he was into metal. He was into like punk, like original punk. And that's what I grew up on. And my mom as well, she was huge in music. She was a dancer her whole life. When I was born, she actually was a lovable cheerleader for the Chicago Bulls. That's awesome. For 2 or 3 years. So I got to be around like that, like entertainment aspect and like side of things. And like growing up with that, I was only like 2 or 3, but it was still cool. So, and then she was in plays and stuff in high school. She was always trying to be like the center of attention all the time. So like, I guess it kind of rubbed off on that side, but nobody in my family is really like musically inclined, I guess. So, and when I started, I had no like background in singing at all. So I didn't know what I was doing, but I played guitar. I started playing when I was 6. So I kind of just like backpacked and like piggybacked off that. And then in freshman year of high school is when I like really dove into, I saw the Justin Bieber movie, Summer going. I mean,
haven't we all?
Dude, it's
Come on.
so good.
It is.
People are like, what got you into music? And then that's the honest answer, like why I started like making music and like posting videos was I saw Never Say Never and I'm like, I want to do that. And then because I've always, like I said, I've loved music. And then that just like kind of gave me that push that I needed to like pursue it. And then I started just like writing. And I've always been into poetry as well. Same with my mom. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just like started putting that all together and taking like vocal lessons and getting into that and just watching like some of my favorite artists and diving into like my knowledge of like old music and just took all of it and just put it together. And I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
And you said you were a fan of like rock music, punk music, and we were at your show at 115 Bourbon Street. One of the songs you did, which I'm a big fan of, and I'm glad you did, Green Day, Good Riddance.
Dude.
Love that song. Why did you choose that song?
Honestly, it was last minute too. So Good Riddance Green Day is my favorite band of all time.
Okay.
American Idiot, I remember it was the first CD I bought myself.
Actual CD?
Actual CD.
Okay,
from
just making
Best
sure.
Buy
All right.
in Michigan. On
Okay.
my way.
He knows what CDs are.
I know.
Hey,
I don't think Jenny
right?
does. I
Not
do.
that
Yeah.
young. But I remember I was with my Nana and my mom on my way home from my lake house. And we have a lake house in Saugatuck, Michigan. And I don't know how I knew about it. I was like 10. But I was like, I want the American Idiot album. And so we drove to the nearest Best Buy in like Grand Rapids and bought it. And I'm not kidding. I probably listened to that album since then to now, maybe 500 times. Like, love it. And I fell in love with like, Dookie. I fell in love with like Nimrod, like all the Green Day albums. So we're going on it was like the day before the show. And we were going to do, In Case You Didn't Know by Brett Young, acoustic. And I'm like, we're already doing Cover Me Up. I'm like, our guitarist, Zach Duran, was like, ooh, he started playing Good Riddance. I'm like, we're doing that. And it was like last minute, but it's one of my favorite songs to sing. And it brings me back to when I was like little. And so like I'll always stick to my like punk roots because I love it. So.
No, and the great album from Green Day. And also, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a musical that was going around at one point.
Yeah.
You got to see that
American
musical.
Idiot, right?
Yeah, that was like the only musical I knew every song to. But if you're a big fan, I would definitely recommend that.
Dude, are they still doing it? Like,
I don't know. I mean, they really should. I saw it in Los Angeles, but it's definitely,
you did see it?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Dude, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward to now, after discovering your voice, now you've been doing some live shows. What are some of the challenges that you've faced as an artist getting into the scene?
Honestly, like just learning that aside from, I mean, it's about a lot of it's about who you know. And that's a known fact. And it's been that way for a long time. But especially nowadays, if you don't have, it's the dead honest truth, if you don't have the like personal one-on-one connections with like people deep in the industry, I mean, you're banking on luck on going viral on like TikTok or something like that, or you need to build those connections. And one of my favorite thing, I mean, I'm the most like extroverted person besides my boy Jairus, but like, and Matt, my manager Matt, is also like incredibly extroverted, and it's like it works because we're always together, so we always just like bounce this intense psycho energy off of each other. We're just always like on edge, but it's fun, and it leads us to not really giving a crap and like going up to random people and networking. And that, I think that was the biggest struggle for me, was like breaking out of my shell. Cause I'm not gonna lie, like I was mentioning, I went to 3 different high schools. I was bullied so bad my freshman year at Brother Rice, and then I went to Providence my sophomore year, and I was bullied really heavily there as well. And it took a lot out of me. Like it didn't shake me bad enough to the point where I wanted to stop making music or pursuing my dream, but it definitely put a toll on me to where I was like, Jesus Christ, like this is hard. Like I don't have people backing me besides a couple friends and like my mom, like, cause my family wasn't always on board. Cause I mean, obviously it's everybody's trying to do it. You know, there's a million others trying to do the same thing, but it took me a while to realize you have to just stay true to yourself and like stand out, and like I said, network. So breaking out of that shell, that scared shell I was, because I was so used to people just like hating on me and stuff, that I was just like afraid. But then I broke out of that and dove into just not give a shit. So I was just like, this is cool, because now I can talk to people. Now I build these relationships that I meet you 5 minutes prior and we're on the same page. Like we're tight as hell. Like we're buying drinks at the bar. We're going and talking to their group of friends. Like I think that's probably the best answer to that question. It's
That's
just
great.
Like, yeah. So.
And you know what? You did break through, and now you're doing it. You're making music. And when it comes to, seen on socials, hearing your song for the first time, I love it when artists kind of, post that. But take us back to that moment when you're sitting in your car and you're hearing your song on the radio for the first time.
Dude, that was crazy. That was like, first off, I just want to say thank you guys so much, because, and I've thanked you, I don't even know how many times, but like literally it's, backstory, like hearing Don't Panic on the radio was crazy, because that song was just it's one of my favorite songs I've ever made. But then like, hearing my other track Until Then on the radio as well, like it was always my dream to be on the radio. Like there's 2 dreams I've had to where I'm like, I did it. Like that's crazy. Being on the radio and then playing at Lollapalooza. It's always been a dream of mine, and my mom was my biggest fan, and she always said like, you will be on the radio. Like it'll happen. Just give it time. And then it happened, and that was just like a shaking, like it shook my world in the best way possible. And I can't thank you enough, because it was a moment where I was with my best friends, Matt, my team, like we were sitting in the car, and just even hearing my name on the radio, I was like, what? I was like, you just said my name. That's who I am. That's crazy. But like then I hear, it was wild. Truly, I don't even know how else to describe it. It was crazy.
So your first song that we played on the Mixed New Music Club, Don't Panic, and currently you can hear your latest, Until Then, on the show, and you've referenced your mother a lot. Can you tell us the inspiration behind Until Then?
Yeah. So my mom, my whole life, she was in a car accident when I was 1. So I'll really quickly recap it. She was in a car accident when I was 1. Fast forward, she was diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia about 9 months after the accident. And trigeminal neuralgia, if those of you who don't know, it's neurological. It's like nerve pain, nerve damage, causes unfathomable pain, like excruciating all day, every day. And it varies throughout people. It's actually more common in women than it is men. And not a lot of people are too familiar with the disease. They call it the suicide illness because the illness itself isn't fatal, but you're put through so much physical and mental turmoil that you can't take it anymore. So my whole life, I grew up watching my mom put me first over all of that. And it was it was so inspiring to me. And it just opened my eyes because I'm like, honestly, like, no matter what happens, life's not that bad. Like, and when I would like beg my mom to like take me out of school, like we lived with my grandparents as well. And my nana was a teacher, very old fashioned, just always pushed, 9 to 5, like you need school, like all that. And I get it. Like, I'm not downplaying that you should go to school, but I begged my mom. I was terrified to go to school and I begged her to just take me out. She did. Like, she didn't care what people thought of her. Like, oh, you pulled your son out of school just because he wanted to. Like, yeah. And she was like, whatever makes Zach happy, like, that's all that matters, because she just lived and breathed for me. And I remember her illness got really, really bad towards the end of my high school career, my junior year, when I was homeschooled. And it was nice because I got to spend all that time with her. And she had, I think it was my 2014, she had 6 or 7 brain surgeries in that year. Mm. And it was, I don't know how she did it. Like, and on top of it, like, the issues that she would have is like, the pain would get so bad she would pass out, or she would have seizures, or it was just crazy. And like, the doctors always said, they were like, I don't know how she's still alive. Like, we don't know. And my mom always said, she was like, it's because of you. Like, I'm here still. Like, you're my purpose. And then fast forward to now, I mean, she, in 2019, we'll get it goes a little grim here, but we'll come up positive. So in 2019, she attempted for the first time, and that shook my world, but she made it. And then she also attempted 2 more times that year. And the final time in 2019, I was supposed to move to LA actually in November 2019, and this happened, and it derailed everything, but not in a bad way. Like, it just opened my eyes, and I remember they put her on life support, and they said, they were like, I had to go to the hospital. My producer, Jared Law, drove me to the hospital, and I was living with my dad at the time, and they were like, you might have to just say goodbye to your mom. And I did. And I remember we have a song, it's Cowboy Take Me Away by the Dixie Chicks. And that's what I have tattooed on my arm. It's the second verse. And we have a part where we always point at each other and sing it. And I sang it to her before I said goodbye. And she like tapped my finger, like, because she heard it. And I like freaked out. I was like, oh my God, like, whoa. And it scared the hell out of me. And so the nurse was like, oh, it's just this and that. And so I was a week away from going to Amsterdam for Amsterdam dance event with my producer. And I told my Nana I'm not going to go because of everything going on. And my Nana was like, just go, your mom would want you to. Like, nothing's going to change. I'll call you. And she bought me a like international phone for it. It was like crazy. So remember, I went and I literally had to say goodbye to my mom. I got there, and I'm under the impression that I'm never going to talk to my mom. I'm never going to talk to my mom again. And the day after we got in Amsterdam, I got a call. The nurse was like, do you want to talk to your mom? And that was that moment right there. I was like, I got to do this. I mean, because there's a reason she's not gone yet. Like, there's a reason she's still here. I was like, I got to work, and I got to make her proud. And I need her to know that I'm okay. And fast forward to January, I started working with Matt, my manager, in 2022, and it was the winter. And we had our first show, and it was my first headlining show, Bourbon Street. And we had a great night, great turnout. And then the next day, Matt got news that his brother committed suicide. And it shook all of us. And I remember my mom was so devastated to hear about it too. But we made it out. We made it through. And then fast forward to January, I got a call from the Cook County or the morgue or whatever, and they literally told me, they were like, your mom passed away, and it shook everything, and I thought I was gonna like be defeated, but I had this like completely change of mindset, and I realized I'm like she knows that I'm taken care of. She knows that Matt is gonna take care of me, and I'm gonna get to where I need to be, and that's where we're at now. And I remember I was writing with my buddy Kelvin. We started writing a song for her last year, and I wanted to do it because she always asked me for songs. Like she was like, I just want you to write me a song. That's all I want for Christmas, for my birthday. I never could. While she was here with us, I never was able to. And I used to beat myself up about it, but I don't anymore, obviously. But I did, and it was called The Reason. And we never. It wasn't all for me. I wrote it with somebody, so she got to hear it, luckily. But after she passed in January, I decided I'm not going to release The Reason, and I wanted to write something for myself, and so I wrote Until Then. I went in my room, locked the door, wrote it in an hour, and it was the realest thing I've ever done in my life. And I felt her, for the first time, I felt her with me. Like in the room, she was like, it's okay. And like, that was it. And then now everything I do and see, I found my purpose. I found my why, my reason. And like, I know for a fact we're in a good spot, and we're in a place where like, it's going to happen. And everything I do now, it's always been for my mom. So that was such a long answer. Holy Christ.
I mean, it was a powerful story.
Yeah.
No,
so sorry.
incredible.
No, that is a very powerful answer. And, from hearing about your mom, it just sounds like the love between you two is unbreakable. It's still unbreakable. And she's looking down on you and just so proud of everything you're doing and continue to do. And I just think that's great how you keep that spirit alive, especially when you're talking about it on the radio and in interviews, and when you hear your songs for the first time. So keep that going. I mean,
thank you, man. It's just, I really appreciate that, and it's definitely it's led us to also, Matt's brother and my mom, because she overdosed, and it was suicide related, obviously, and so now I mean we have so much planned and so much special stuff. We're actually, Matt and I are creating a clothing line. It's called Calm and Collected, and it's all mental health awareness, and it's all suicide prevention. It's just raising awareness, and I mean, there obviously have been, people have done something similar, but I have a feeling I just want to help people, and like it sounds so cliche, but I really do, because I know like there's people like that were in my shoes when I was younger, and I was afraid to just go after what I loved and do. And I mean, it like really takes a mental toll on people, especially if you don't have support. So like that, I feel like that's going to be something so special that we're going to create. And I'm really excited about it. So.
Well, that's incredible. And not only the clothing line are you helping spread the message of suicide awareness, but you're using your platform as an artist to spread the message and also create fundraisers. So that's taken you to a lot of live shows, and you have several coming up. Can you name some of the shows that you've got on your schedule?
We have July 22nd at Chicago Social Club. I'm playing, I believe I go on at 9 o'clock. West Chicago Social Club, excuse me. I go on at 9 o'clock. It's going to be super fun. It's just a night of awesome artists playing. And then we have in September as well, the 23rd, we have Laugh Your Face Off with Pat Tomasulo, a dear friend of ours, and his wife actually suffers from the same illness my mom had, trigeminal neuralgia, and he started a foundation. It's like a mix of like comedy show meets awareness, and it's awesome. And my mom was actually such a huge fan of it, and it's like a full circle moment because now I'm a part of this foundation. I'm the first original music act that they've ever like had there. Wow. And I'm going to be performing Until Then. I'm going to be telling my mom's story. Super excited about that. and it's here in Chicago at Park West. So I'm super excited, keeping it like, you know, home base, like just, and it's just really cool to see like everything coming about, like something, especially like that, like a full circle moment. And then
fast forward to October, you've got a big gig opening up for Philip
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes, there we
Wow.
go. Massive.
Yes, opening up for Phil Phillips, October 12th. That is at Joe's Live. I am so excited. I remember literally watching him like win American Idol. I was like, what? Matt calls me. I'm literally in my room. He's like, you know Phil Phillips, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you're opening for him in October. I was like, what? Are you kidding? I nearly like, I passed out. I was like, oh my God. It was just crazy. Like, it's amazing. Like I'm very excited for that show. And we have also like a lot of awesome new music coming too. So like by then, like I'm so excited for it, because like we have so much coming that I'm just like, it's all falling into place. So
Well, with all the shows coming up, I mean, that means your fan base grows, and you did reference Justin Bieber, okay? He's got the Beliebers.
of course.
Do we have like is it like the Cranes?
We need oh yeah, no.
The Craners.
We need
Yeah, like,
the Cranies.
do we have to work on that?
we
Like,
gotta work on that. There used to be a name, and I'm not even gonna say it. I can't do it. I can't
Zackies.
expose myself. Should I do it?
Say it.
It's
I
so-
mean,
it's-
when we
Let's-
talked to
I
Benson
physically
Boone, he
will
had the
cringe.
Booners.
Oh, sweet Moses. Oh, Craniacs.
Oh,
So
Craniac.
bad. My friends still call me. They're like, Craniac. Like, God,
Oh,
come on,
love
I could see that on T-shirts. That could be like your second album, called like Craniacs.
it was so bad. I did just say that on the radio. All my friends at home, if that makes it,
You guys make that a hashtag, make that trend. The Craniacs.
let's just
okay?
blow it
I
up.
love it.
Oh, hell no.
Oh my god.
I'll be on like shirts and shit. That can't happen.
And let's talk about your upcoming single, Need to Say.
Yes, I remember I did give you guys a little backstory about it at my bourbon show that just last month. So, yeah, Need to Say, it's my new single. It's definitely a summer song. I've been working on it for about a year now, and it just didn't feel right to release then, and I'm so glad we didn't, because now we're working on it with DJ Lux, who has put his incredible spin on it. We have so much planned with the song, and I think it's also going to open a lot of doors for more shows in the city. So we'll be out in your neck of the woods soon. So, and the release date for that right now, we're thinking is July 14th. So a couple weeks away.
Perfect.
Right.
Just in time for summer.
Yes, exactly. So I'm excited.
Well, we're excited for all the new music you've got coming, all the shows, and to see you open up for Philip Phillips October 12th at Joe's Live in Rosemont. Zach, thank you so much for joining us. It's been
Appreciate
an
it.
honor.
Give it up one more time for Zach. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you.